Hi, I'm Sara and welcome to Hen Corner. Today we're making homemade pizza, an absolute family favourite. Really straightforward. We're going to make pizza dough, we're going to make tomato sauce, we're not making the cheese this time, that's another session, and then all you need is your favourite toppings, and you can go for lots of different vegetables, olives, my husband's after some anchovies, my daughter wants some chorizo. I love to have all kinds of vegetables and mushrooms, spinach, and a cheeky poached egg on top. Well, not poached, but one of the hen's eggs on top, and it all bakes together lovely in the oven. So let's start with the dough. We have got here 500 grams of strong white flour. Now, if you haven't got strong flour, it works perfect well with plain flour, and if you want to put some wholemeal in, then that's absolutely fine. Now, in with the 500 grams of flour, we're going to put 1 teaspoon of salt. Get my teaspoon spoon. There's my teaspoon spoon. 1 teaspoon of salt. Now, because we want it to have a bit of an Italian feel being pizza, we're going to add some olive oil. So we're going to put 2 tablespoons of olive oil into the dough. 1, 2. And then we're going to put some water in, and this is not as much water as you'd normally put in a bread dough because we want quite a firm dough. We're going to put 250 grams of water, so it's 1/4 litre, 250 grams of water to go in with the 500 grams of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt and 2 tablespoons of oil. And I've completely forgotten the yeast. I'll go and get it. We're going to put in 1 teaspoon of yeast. Find the teaspoon one. There we go. Brilliant. My goodness. Can't believe I forgot the yeast. That would have caused a load of problems. So, we are going to just mix this together. Now, it's quite a firm dough. I'm going to use my scraper because I love using the scraper when making dough because it saves you getting it all under your fingernails. Just using the scraper to combine it. If you haven't, you can use a spoon, you can get your hands in. It will become quite a firm dough. And the reason we want quite a firm dough is these are going to be thin and crispy pizzas where you want to roll them out nice and thin. Sometimes we do a pan pizza and we have a much wetter dough, which means you get much bigger bubbles, sort of almost like a focaccia. So if you want a wet dough and bubbly one, then absolutely fine. Put a bit more water in, but if you want to have a firm dough that you can roll out and stretch, nice big discs for nice big pizzas, then these are the right measurements for the right consistency. Okay, I've had a bit of a mix. I'm now going to get my hands in. Let's get those spoons out of the way. Get my hands in. And when you're mixing dough for bread products, you're wanting to develop some gluten. You want to stretch it a bit, and because we've got the yeast in there, we're going to give it time for it to rest and for it to ferment. Now, this, as I said, this is quite firm, but it will soften up while it's fermenting. And this is a great recipe if you want to start it earlier on in the day. And then you can leave it to prove. You can even prove it overnight in the fridge, because when you refrigerate dough, it just slows everything down. It slows down the fermentation process. So it means that the dough will rise much slower. So let's get that. It's nearly ready to get it out of the bowl. You know when it's ready to get it out of the bowl, when your bowl is clean. Now I've still got some bits of flour there. I want to incorporate that into the dough. If you've got bits of flour around the edge of the dough, around the edge of the bowl, it means that you've got some wet patches in the middle of the dough. So just press the wet patches in to pick up those bits of flour, and then we're going to knead this to make sure that it's nicely incorporated. So we're going to knead this to make until it's nice and smooth. And then we're going to put it back into the bowl and leave it to rest for at least an hour. There we go. That's pretty even in consistency. And I'm going to pull it into a tight ball. And that's going to go back into the bowl, bowl. And we're going to cover it and leave it to rest for at least an hour. Now, to make the tomato sauce, you can use a jar of pasta sauce if you want to, but the sauce that we're going to make, it's going to be onion and garlic sautéed in olive oil with a bit of herb. I've got some thyme, salt, sugar, pepper, tin of tomatoes, and that can be simmering down while your bread is proofing. So these are things we've got in the cupboard anyway. I'm going to have a couple of cloves of garlic because we like those. I've made a mistake here. I haven't got my kitchen towel, which I like, to put my trimmings on, but not loads and loads of trimmings today. So peel the garlic. People think of pizza as being an unhealthy fast food, junk food, but it really isn't. You know, we've got everything nice and natural going into the base. The sauce, I said a pinch of sugar, you don't have to, I just put it in just to bring all the flavours together. But we're talking just a pinch. Fresh vegetables, and then just your toppings. You can choose lovely, healthy vegetables, bit of cheese, really, really nice. So, onion, garlic, put into my trusty saucepan, onions and garlic, olive oil, salt, pepper, and it literally is a pinch of sugar, I promise you. Here we go, pinch of sugar. And some thyme. Now you can put all the sprigs of thyme in, because you can pick the woody bits out later on, just before you put it on top of your pizza. So we've got the onions and the garlic with the thyme are going to be sautéing for a while, and then when they're nice and soft, we're going to put the tomatoes in and then bring it up to a simmer and then let it all simmer down lovely into a beautiful fresh tomato sauce. Now we're in the final stages of putting our pizza together. This is really exciting. Take the cover off. I've had a shower cap on this bowl and you can see the dough is nice and soft. I'm going to take out a nice big chunk of dough. I'm going to say tennis ball size, but that's because it's still full of air. Cover the rest of the bowl so that it doesn't dry out for everybody else. And what we're going to do, we're going to shape the dough into a tight ball first, so that when we roll it out, it's going to be nice and even. So we've got a nice tight ball there. A little bit of flour underneath and above. We don't want too much because we want a bit of tension as we roll this out. If it's too floury, it won't stick to the work surface and it'll be a struggle to roll it out and stretch it thin. Now the secret is to roll it in lots of different directions to keep it round. Otherwise you'll end up with a long, thin, naan bread shaped pizza, which I've got coming on here nicely. But as I said, this is a firm dough because we want a thin and crispy pizza base. This is a real family favourite, and because I've prepared all the toppings, then everyone can come and do their own. Now in our oven we've got stones on each shelf, And they're just old floor tiles. When I say old, they're not old, they haven't been walked on. Clean floor tiles. When we had the kitchen floor redone, we had some stones cut to fit the oven shelves. So they're preheating in the oven, and we can slide this pizza base straight into the oven. And I'm going to use a peel. Now this is what they use in the pizzerias. We also use this for all the stone baked bread that we make here at Hen Corner in the bakery. And I've just got a bit of semolina over the top of the seal. So over the top of the peel to stop it from sliding around. No, to help it slide. You want the pizza to slide. There we go. And the pizza goes on there. And you can see that it moves. So we can slide the pizza straight into the oven. Now I've got my toppings here. This is the tomato sauce that we were making earlier. So I've pulled out quite a lot of the thyme branches because we don't want woody sticks. And the pizza sauce can go around the base there. You don't want it going over the edges because then that would stick and it will start to burn. So you want enough pizza crust around the edge. So you've got something, a handle to hold your pizza on. So that's my tomato sauce. Now my toppings, I've got some mozzarella cheese here. You can get mozzarella in a block, which is ideal for pizzas, or you can get the buffalo mozzarella, the soft balls are the ones that you normally have in the salad. So the blocks here are perfect for the pizzas because they're not so wet. Bit of onion. And oh, what else have we got here? Let's have some capers, some mushrooms, here we go. This is chorizo that I've cut up. It's falling apart. It's going to cook up really lovely. Some olives, some spinach. And then I'm going to be really cheeky. Just check that that's all still moving nicely. Yep, they're still moving nicely. I'm going to crack an egg. Put an egg on the top. In the middle. Lovely. And that is my pizza ready to slide into the hot oven. And here we go. Look at that. That is our wonderful homemade pizza with a thin and crispy base, fresh tomato sauce, onions and mushrooms and capers and olives and spinach and chorizo, and one of our own chicken's eggs on the top. Hope you try it yourself. Let us know how you get on, and we'll see you next time. Join us on the journey.